Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. Once there were 4 children whose names were Peter, Susan, Edmund and Lucy. This story is about something that happened to them when they were sent away from London during the war because of the air raids. They were sent to the house of an old professor who lived in the heart of the country, 10 miles from the nearest railway station and 2 miles from the nearest post office. He had no wife and he lived in a very large house with a housekeeper called Miss Macready and 3 servants. Their names are Ivy, Margaret and Betty, but they do not come into the story much. He himself was a very old man with shaggy white hair, which grew over most of his face, as well on his head, and they liked him almost at once. On the first evening, when he came out to meet them at the front door, he was so odd-looking that Lucy, who was the youngest, was a little afraid of him, and Edmund, who was the next youngest, wanted to laugh and had to keep on pretending he was blowing his nose to hide it.
George's marvellous medicine. I'm going shopping in the village, George's mother said to George on Saturday morning, so be a good boy and don't get up to mischief. This was a silly thing to say to a small boy at any time. It immediately made him wonder what sort of mischief he might get up to. And don't forget to give Grandma her medicine at 11 o'clock, the mother said. Then out she went, closing the back door behind her. Grandma, who was dozing in her chair by the window, opened one wicked little eye and said, "Now you heard what your mother said, George. Don't forget my medicine." "No, Grandma," George said, "and just try to behave yourself for once a while she's away." "Yes, Grandma," George said. George was bored to tears. He didn't have a brother or a sister. His father was a farmer, and the farm they lived on was miles away from anywhere, so there were never any children to play with. He was tired of staring at pigs and hens.
Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Chapter 1, The Boy Who Lived. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Privet Drive were proud to say that they were perfectly normal. Thank you very much. They're the last people you'd expect to be involved in anything strange and mysterious, because they just didn't hold with such nonsense.
Mr. Dursley was the director of a firm called Gwannings, which made drills. He was a big beefy man with hardly any neck, although he did have a very large moustache. Mrs. Dursley was thin and blonde and had nearly the twice as usual amount of neck, which came in very usual as she spent so much time craning over garden fences, spying on the neighbours. The Dursleys had a small son called Dudley, and in their opinion, there was no finer boy anywhere.
The Dursleys had everything they wanted, but they also had a secret, and their greatest fear was that somebody would discover it. They didn't think they could bear it if anyone found out about the Potters.
The Gruffalo.
A mouse took a stroll through the deep dark woods.
A fox saw the mouse, and the mouse looked good.
Where are you going to, little brown mouse? Come and have lunch in my underground house.
It's terribly kind of you, Fox, but no. I'm going to have lunch with a Gruffalo.
A Gruffalo? What's a Gruffalo?
A Gruffalo? Why, didn't you know?
Taking your pig, said the wise old man.
Taking my pig, what a curious plan.
So she took in her pig and kept chasing the hen
and raiding the ladder again and again.
The Cat in the Hat. The sun did not shine, it was too hot to play, so he sat in the house all that cold wet day. I sat there with Sally, we sat there we two, and I said, how I wish we had something to do. Too wet to go out and too cold to play ball, so we sat in the house, we did nothing at all. So all we could do was to sit, and we did not like it, not one little bit. Horrid Henry, tricks and treats.
Owl babies.
Every year, Horrid Henry could not believe it.
An entire day devoted to stuffing your face with sweets and playing horrid tricks. Best of all, you were supposed to stuff your face and play horrid tricks. Whoopee! Once there were 3 baby owls, Sarah and Percy and Bill. They lived in a hole in the trunk of a tree with their owl mother. The hole had twigs, leaves and owl feathers in it. It was their house.